2016, I reported suggested threats against a person in another county to the FBI in the fear that were I to respond personally, the corporation would reveal some complication. So the operator said, okay, check your spam folder for confirmation. And it was empty, all but for one ad for 2-for-1 cremations and the other for discount burial plot. So I guess your confirmation didn't come through, huh, FBI? I traced those through a proxy in New Mexico or Arizona, I forget. But it was a warehousing and shipping company. And I traced the webmaster to King Abdulaziz University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. All these years I've been talking about September 11th because it doesn't make sense. You can't knock down 3 towers with 2 planes and a paper fire, blame it on jet fuel, and call it an inside job, take our armor and send us to war with a deck of playing cards. My most recent job, matter of fact, before enlistment, was at Casino Distribution Warehouse in Pleasantville. There was no need to install Nazi sovereignty to protect the whiteys. Idi Amin never had a valid claim. See, we have to have a more responsible approach to the invocation of divine authority, because a religion is not an excuse to stab each other in the back, shoot yourself in the foot, and blame somebody. If something happened, you don't prevent me from answering to it just so you can whip out the space program. Islam is the only one of the major world religions which does not continue. It cannot survive without rationally justifying vendetta, and it means peace. And every time they go to war, they make a liar out of their God. Saudis, make your God find the injustice. He's right there. He's 7 miles away. Almost 40 years, Secret Service, they've been looking for this guy. Won't they be relieved? This is why they, KKK has no valid assertion. You don't protect me. You need protection from me. Making up all these wacky new religions. Protestants think, well, if you could do it, how come I can? And they cut through church and state, go right at the Mujahideen themselves, trying to work out some kind of deal. All the racists, and it's just free labor for the KKK, maintain a monopoly out of reach of their humans. Like the sudden prevalence of Haitians in various professional and government fields. Where do they come from? Washington? Oh, I know Haiti, but why? Was there a hurricane? Posting on Facebook. Got Pakistanis sending me messages like, can you do something about your government? We live underground. What am I supposed to do? Post it. I don't know what this is about. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, okay. When I went back to New Jersey, only 3 people outside of my family knew, and by the time I got there, 2 of them were dead because they were supposed to help me find a job. I was confused. It's inconvenient and quite a coincidence. But if it had anything to do with me, why wouldn't it just be me? You see, I'm following along the logical path of what I know to be true, which is not subject to parties who were clearly under some wrong impression for decades. Born that way, London. You believe it? And here I thought humans had a thing called puberty, or at least a bar mitzvah. Am I right? It wasn't my game. So if anybody's born that way, but it might be worth noting that the nanny was ostensibly French, but you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I recognize her now that you mention it. All these years I've been complaining about how our military is being abused and mistreated and misrepresented, and then I got these jinglehead zombies act like they doing me some kind of favor. Eat your gun. I assure the Supreme Court I have the utmost respect. I would have never threatened Washington were it not technically legal, with being interned for 2 separate years with no trial. Because if Geneva is not represented on the land, I mean, we muster until it is. Is all true classical religion a search for universal and eternal truth? Well, I could logically argue that it is. I don't think most of them rely upon invoking Stone Age traditions through a Dark Age exploitation of the corporation. You can read about it at my blog, what a religion is. I guess you could say it has something to do with liberty, or it can't preclude reality, fact, logical demonstrability, because the authority of the ancient Greek Senate was derived from the consensus agreement that what we observe to be consistently true must be the will of the gods. This is how law was invented. This is where democratic authority comes from, the republic. We already had a talking stick. They did it with doctors. You're not going to cancel IQ testing and send a squad of corporate ninnies after me. mfrodeo.blogspot.com. First, do no harm, and then just lock me in a room with them.